found it a lot easier the first couple of days after, but then as we got towards the weekend and that, I found it a lot harder to focus. It's like thinking to myself, well, it's not the same as what it was.
No, it's not, and it's part of the function of these groups, really. That there's two things going on here, really. Yes, I'm teaching you techniques and giving you ideas to play with, but actually that's not really very important, because all of you are here now, so you don't need the techniques and the ideas. You don't need actually ultimately anything I'm teaching you, because you're already accessing that state of awareness. But just being here and holding that state of awareness, particularly in a group like this, it helps raise consciousness. And that's the function of the guru in sort of Indian meditation traditions. The guru holds a state of awareness that allows others to access that state of awareness. They provide like a kind of a portal for that awareness to come through. And that's part of my role really at this stage, is to help you experience that. But very quickly you'll find that you'll be able to sustain that yourself, and you won't need that. But it is normal to come and go. So yeah, a couple of days after this, you're like, oh, the world's all shiny, and then the thinking starts to sneak back in, and that's entirely normal. And if you can kind of get over the resistance to that natural process, it will save you an awful lot of suffering. The nature of mind is that it will go off. That's how human beings have been living for 5,000-6,000 years maybe. That's normal. We're learning to operate in a very different way, so we're going against that momentum. And you're all experiencing that this week, aren't you? How everybody's trying to pull you, the whole world's trying to pull you into that thought-based reality, because that's what it does, that's what it's operating on. But once you start watching and bringing yourself back to now, and all of you already have come too far. Because every time you step out of those thoughts, that space of awareness gets a bit bigger, and a bit bigger, and a bit bigger, and a bit bigger, and a bit bigger. The more you see, the more you step out of. So the more you see, so the more you step out of. So once we get over that initial inertia, and it starts rolling, it will build a momentum all on its own. You come and you go. There's times where your head is very noisy, and there'll be times where it's very much easier to be present, and that's the natural flow of things. It's a gentle practice. Should. Hear that word should. What's going on? Should. Should is a non-acceptance of now. If your head is noisy in this moment, it is noisy in this moment. Somebody's aware of that. Gently. All of you here are present enough to do this. There's so much awareness in this room. Hardly a thought in this room right now. All these heads and no thoughts. It's great. So you can already do it. But there's a natural process of development. It's getting faster. I'm seeing people shift in awareness in half the time it took me to do it. I think there's an acceleration, but there is a natural process, and that's fine. You wouldn't run a marathon, would you, and start off with 26 miles. You might start with a brisk walk and build up to it. It's the same. But you've already started walking, and you're already seeing. Anything come up for anybody else?
You mentioned it. Well,
sorry, Dan.
So you mentioned the restlessness when you were talking before,
yes.
And how do you deal with that? Because I can often be fine for doing it a couple of minutes. Then after that, I start to get itchy, and then almost combating my mind, wanting to go and do something else.
Then you're doing it. You're aware of your restlessness. The restlessness is happening, but you aren't restless. So by observing it, it is not able to drive you. There's a restless feeling in the body, but I'm sitting very still. And that's meditation. That's what you're training yourself to do. We're going to look more at that in a moment, for sitting with feelings. But that's ultimately what we're learning to do, is to become a master of ourselves. And that requires you to be aware of your restlessness. Because if you're not aware of your restlessness, then you are restless. Just noticing that is there gives you some chance to deal with yourself. So good that you're noticing it.
Okay. So what you do, you just persevere and just...
There you go, that's what that... Yes, absolutely. I sit there for 10 minutes and I just observe my restlessness. And that's the training. That is meditation. You're doing it perfectly. So.
Yeah, for me the runaway thoughts and anxiety happens at night.
Yes.
And it was quite useful to just step back from it and say, well, I'm here in bed, nothing is happening,
Lovely.
Warm and comfortable.
Yes.
And I shouldn't let my thoughts run away.
Yes. So you're already watching. Wonderful.
So that was very useful.
Lovely. It's already happening. It's already happening. Anyone else?
I like your lesson about enjoying the moment.
Yes.
And I'm trying to teach my husband as well.
Do you know
With
what?
varying degree of success.
Sure. But if you enjoy the moment,
Yes.
that kind of has a knock-on effect.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's helpful to kind of understand, really, because particularly as your practice deepens, because it can be very frustrating to watch people torturing themselves when it's completely unnecessary. I might say.
How do you do that when you're in what if it's a terrible moment? Like, what if you're in a packed tube station
Yes,
and it's the
yes.
last place you want to be?
You've got two choices. You can be there, or you can be pissed off about being there. Yeah? Surrender to where you are. Doesn't stop you going. Make a little bit of space for yourself. But you accept that's where I am. Okay, I'm in a packed tube now. That's okay. My resistance to it is the suffering.
Okay.
Not pleasant being in a packed tube, but even more unpleasant to be in a packed tube and not want to be there. That's doubly unpleasant. Because we can only really ever be where we are. We'll look more at the practice of surrender next time. It's a key part of our mindful practice. Yes, you can take steps to remove yourself from discomfort. Of course you can. And if that's possible, you may choose to do that. But if you're in discomfort, you might as well experience it, you might as well be there. Because wanting to be somewhere else is a pain on top of pain.